Before we start tonight, we're going to have the pledge, and Father's coming to give us the last pledge, or the last invocation. I don't know if it's for me or who, but he's going to give it. And
last invocation when?
and I'm supposed to give the pledge.
That's right, that's what it says.
Let's all stand and do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to
the republic for which it stands,
one nation of God, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wait just a minute, Father. Just hold your horses. Okay. Fran?
Sure.
President of the Council is going to
I'm glad I remembered.
What did you remember?
To be here.
Yeah. Well, I understand this is a very special night to all of us in this room. For more than 19 years you've labored in this community. You've sat by sick beds and you've visited the dead. You've called on people and you've operated St. Gabriel, plus putting in time elsewhere, such as Liberty. You've had a lot of responsibility for the young man. And I personally have worked with you for 19 years, and I've got to say you're the most congenial priest to ever work with that we've had in Connersville. You don't get all upset, you don't get uptight, everything's always okay. And these people here tonight are here because they're your friends. And you thought we got you here to pray.
That was the idea.
We're going to do something really out of ordinary. This fellow over here belongs to Latter-day Saints Church. It means he's a Mormon. And we're going to have him pray for you.
Well, there you are.
Yes. So if you all bow, I want you to pray for Father that he has a wonderful retirement and a wonderful time in his new home, and that everything just goes great, and whatever else you can do.
Okay.
That's about it.
Our Heavenly Father, we thank Thee so much for this opportunity to be here tonight. We pay honor to this dedicated servant who has labored throughout his life to help Thy children here in Connersville and the surrounding area. We pray Thee, Father, to bless him as he retires, that he might have the blessings of life and the blessings of heaven attend him. We thank Thee, Father, for Thy beloved Son and for his great atonement for us, for each of us. We ask Thee to bless each of us, that we might have a sense of renewed dedication to serve Thee and to serve our fellow man. We ask Thee now to bless us in this city council meeting, that we might be able to conduct the affairs of the city, and that we might do it in a way that is pleasing unto Thee. And we ask for these favors and blessings and any others that Thou knowest we stand in need of. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Our Father, stand on behalf of the city of Connersville and the taxpayers and the citizens. I present you with a key to the city. Fran's going to read it. Fran, and read the key.
Sure.
Fran is president of our city council.
To Father Stan Herber by Mayor Leonard E. Urban, June 16, 2014, Connersville, Indiana. For your faithful 19 years of service to our community, Connersville and Fayette County are a better place to live because of you.
Wow.
I was suspecting, I was suspecting something was happening when I saw who was gathered here tonight. And, and I was also aware of the fact that whatever happened, I was ready to say, I don't really deserve this, but it's the people that are with me that make it real. And so I just want, as I thank you, I thank the people of St. Gabriel for being such great citizens of our city and county and of our country. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Father Stan, I always allow the council, that anybody up there like to speak, this is their meeting.
If I may say, I've been a member of St. Gabriel since 1964. On a personal note with Father Stan, in 2002, my wife and I lost our son. And I can tell all of you, when my wife and I sit down with Father Stan to make arrangements for a funeral mass, he could not have been more comforting. And I've always appreciated that. Thank you very much, Father Stan.
About 10 years ago, Father Stan married myself and my wife, and it was a good time to go through the marriage counseling time. So appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thanks.
We appreciated your years at St. Gabriel's, Father.
Thanks, Judy.
I'm just going to ditto everything. You're the best.
Congratulations.
Thank
Happy
you very
retirement.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
John, or he'll have some legal note to this.
Oh, I will. I had a chance to work with Father Stan in the state I was working with several months ago now, and he was very pleasant to work with, very congenial, and it was just a pleasure to meet him and work with him. I've met him before, but it's been a while, so thanks for being so easy to get along with.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks so much. Wow.
Anybody from St. Gabriel, we don't want to shortchange you.
Oh my.
Anybody?
This is being recorded, isn't it? Wow.
We were fortunate enough that we all came to church together.
Yeah, there they are.
Dan Flom wants a picture. Fran, if you'll come over here with a, what'd you do with your key? You gotta keep it in hand in case you ever get in or not. Come over here, he wants to get a picture.
Okay. I'll get on this side.
Okay.
That's pretty
Yeah, we got one on each side of him. Then we're in good
Yeah,
shape.
right.
Now, if you'd like to pray, you can, but you don't need to. What would you prefer?
Well, I think, well, with that kind of invitation, I won't be equal to the beautiful prayer of my colleague there.
Well, why don't you give us your last prayer, although I expect you to come back and pray for us.
Let us pray. Let's just be, I was thinking of harvest, planting, and just aware of the planting that is coming to an end, but then that great time of God's working among us, and the rain and the sun, and we're just aware of how God always cares for us. And so we pray the Lord to rain down His goodness and His love upon all gathered here this evening, and to bring a good harvest this year and for years and years to come. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'd say we ought to adjourn.
Holy moly, what happened? What'd you do? What'd you do? I think you made a mad.
Wouldn't me?
I'll call the meeting of the city council together. This is the meeting of June 16th, 2014. First order of business will be roll call.
Councilwoman Risch.
Present.
Councilman Weber.
Present.
Councilman Shulman.
Present.
Councilman Nobby.
Present.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Present.
Councilman Creech.
Present.
Councilwoman Stevens.
Present.
All council people are present. We have a quorum. We can do business. I thank you. The second order of business will be if you'll turn your cell phones to the silent or off mode. That makes it better. And the first item on the agenda tonight will be the reading of the minutes of the last city council meeting.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, we pass those as presented.
Second. Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept the minutes as they were presented to the council people by delivering. Any additions or corrections? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Under new business tonight, we have a proclamation. I don't see anybody from the airport board here. They were supposed to be. I guess you're from the airport board. I can read this to you. Oh, you already read it because you attested it. Yeah. City of Connersville, this proclamation to all whom these presents may come, greetings. Whereas the City of Connersville and the State of Indiana has significant interest in continued vitality of general aviation, aircraft manufacturing, aviation education, aviation organizations, and community airports, and whereas general aviation and Middlefield contributes an annual economic impact of $59,999.19 to the City of Connersville, and whereas Indiana, the home of 69 system airports that serve 10,125 pilots and 3,151 active general aviation aircraft. And whereas the state is home to 72 fixed base operators, 58 repair stations, and 4 FAA-approved pilot schools. Whereas general aviation contributes an annual economic impact of $5.88 billion to the Indiana economy and supports more than 32,000 jobs. And whereas general aviation not only supports Indiana's economy, it improves our overall quality of life by supporting emergency medical and health care services, assisting law enforcement, firefighting, disaster relief, transporting business travelers to their destinations quickly and safely. And whereas the nation aviation infrastructure represents an important public benefit, and congressional oversight should be in place to ensure stable funding for this system. Now therefore, I, Leonard E. Urban, Mayor of the City of Connersville, do hereby proclaim general aviation a vital strategic resource to the City of Connersville and declare June Aviation Month in Connersville, and encourage all citizens of Connersville to observe this day in ways appropriate to its significance. In testimony whereof, I have hereto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Connersville on this 16th day of June in the year of our Lord 2014, Leonard E. Urban Mayor, Julie A. Creason, Clerk Treasurer. Very, very important that we remember that we have one of the finest airports in Indiana. We have worked through economic development and others to try to make it even better and to use it. And one of these days, it's going to be the star in our crown because so much has been put into it. So Julie, you are the one from the airport board. We appreciate you and all the members. Okay. Do you have anything you want to say about it? Okay. Also under new business, we have a resolution, DOT damage. There was damage to a 2007 Ford truck in the department. We got $2,545.13. We need to accept that money back in.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to pass spending resolution 2014-23, receiving $2,545.13 from the insurance company. Any discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pending ordinance 3122, transferring the fire 400 from fire gear into instruction. We're taking from 400 from fire gear and putting in instruction. We're not doing very many transfers, as you know, because we're keeping all our expense down, but this is needed. What's your pleasure?
What kind of training? They got some sort of training or something?
Yeah, there was some, I think something that they'd already signed up for prior to the financial emergency that we had to pay for.
Is it local or?
I think it's, I'm not sure, I would say like something in Rushville or something.
I'll make the motion to pass pending ordinance 3122.
Second.
A motion and a second to pass on first reading pending ordinance 3122. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Would you like to suspend the rules and move forward?
Second.
Got a motion to suspend the rules so we can consider pending ordinance 3122 on third and final reading. Any discussion on suspension of rules only? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We can move forward.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion to consider pending ordinance 3122 on third and final reading, allowing us to transfer 400 from fire gear to instruction. Any discussion? None appearing, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pending ordinance 3123, amendment of salary ordinance in the utility department. When Harold Ellison was the utility director, the last 5 years, David Nutty served as the person in charge of water. It's called the person of responsible charge. And they are responsible for everything that happens at the water company, including if there's a broken pipe. Well, when Bill took over, Bill didn't have that certification at the water company. He had all the certifications at the wastewater. So he left David in there, and David continued to sign off. Although we have 2 WT3 certified people at the water station that could have taken that responsibility. And then when David took over as superintendent, he continued to sign off on the water because he had done it for many, many years. He knew what he was doing, and he was in management. Well, the new director that I hope I'm going to hire is certified class 4 in sewage treatment, and he has a 4 in sewage, I forget what it's called. But anyway, he has all the credentials. In fact, he has one more we need. We need a 3 down there, and he has a 4. He has worked in water for 18 years and can be certified by taking the test in November, but however, he's not certified at this time. So I asked the union if they would allow me to have the one with most seniority up there to take this job, or whoever would take it. And of course, we have to pay them to take this extra responsibility. We negotiated back and forth, and we got down to 50 cents an hour. And we will be paying this guy, if you approve it tonight, 50 cents an hour more for that certification. However, if you looked in your packet, and I think she put it in there, I have got a clause in the agreement that says if management wants to take that back at a later date, they have the right to take it back and do that, and then you no longer pay this 50-cent surcharge. And I want you to remember that they do work some overtime up there if they're called in. That 50 cents would then generate to 75 cents time and a half. So with that, I'm asking you to okay or change the utility salary agreement to add 50 cents to the personal responsible charge at the water company.
Your Honor, this person's already a
WT3.
He's already a WT3. WT3. He's already receiving this pay.
He gets regular pay, right.
Yeah, he's at 1881 right now, and he will go an additional 50 to 1931.
Okay, and how many people is this involved, Fran?
Just one.
Yes.
Just one. We just have to have one person to sign off the paperwork.
This is likely a temporary thing.
It could be temporary, or if new management wants it to stay that way. It sometimes is a good idea because that person works in water every day, and that's what they do. They know what's going on, and they know the plant. It works both ways in a lot of plants. Sometimes it's a union person, sometimes it's management. But in the new agreement with the union, which I thought it was in here, it's not, is it?
No.
The new agreement with the union, which you have to okay here in a few minutes, it's a contract, changing the contract.
It's not in the packet.
Okay, I have it on my desk. And you got it, you just get it out of your,
Don't vote on anything.
okay, we'll move it. Melissa's on vacation this week, and your mayor's kind of lost.
Look, you say that one more time, and she's listening.
I'm just doing fine. Just doing fine. Well, when it comes down to, I had to negotiate a side note with the union in order to get this approved. And they haven't signed off on it yet, but their representative tells me they will. So once we approve it, then we'll take it to them. And basically just says they will do this job until management wants it, and if management doesn't want it, they will continue to do it as long as we ask them to.
I have a question. On the new head of the water, why wasn't Brad Coulter considered more
He
for that
was.
job?
He was considered a lot. We had 2 interviews. He has a wastewater 1, and it won't qualify our plant. But you have to have wastewater 3, at least.
And they say he'd get that in November.
He possibly could. But IDEM is so, I would say, particular. I met with them, I get my days straight now, last week, Thursday, I believe, over this water issue. And they said if I didn't have a man with a WT3 certified person in charge, they'd shut the water off Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon when Dave leaves. You have to be qualified to do these jobs. The Board of Works, I talked with Brad about the assistant's job, and then we talked to him about the manager's job, but he is not qualified to do it. We would have to hire 2 people to qualify it, and it wouldn't, I guess it wouldn't be so bad if Mary Ellen wasn't leaving down there, but she's leaving too.
I believe a WT4 is also required.
Yes.
And Brad did not have that. When Mary Ellen and David said they were retiring, they informed us that no one in the system, to their knowledge, had all the certifications required, so that's the reason we started looking elsewhere. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you just absolutely can't operate it without those credentials. And let's say we interviewed him twice, to be sure. He had the opportunity to take the exam in April. He's
Thank you.
qualified to take the exam, but didn't take it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that wasn't in your folder. I didn't
If
tell
there's
you.
somebody local, though, that would have the credentials, I think they should have had more opportunity than hiring somebody from Wakefield.
Thank you.
Somebody that worked for them for so
Thank you.
many years should have really been considered seriously and encouraged to get the credentials.
And we did that.
Okay.
I mean, we tried for 2 years to find an assistant, and we couldn't find one, so we just left the place open.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
On this, back on this water issue, in the event this individual was on vacation for a week or something, that's not an issue?
We have 2 WT3s up
Okay.
there, and the other
Okay.
one, yeah.
And
And
then-
I think if we hire the man that we're looking at, he will get his WT3 in November when they take the test. The other thing about this wastewater, the pass rate on that exam is 17%. If we took a chance and hired somebody from out of town, which you would have to, because there's none here, to qualify the thing, and he didn't pass in November, we'd really be in trouble. But the Board of Works did consider it, did you not? Secretary?
Yes. Yes.
I also, and I'm going to be upfront with you, I've had instructions from some of this board right here that they didn't want a union person elevated up there. They wanted somebody that had never been in the union to come in and operate it. Not pointing any fingers, but there's some of you that told me that, and there were some on the Board of Works told me that. And we're probably going to have to do the same thing in Mary Ellen's job because there's nobody qualified.
Could I say something?
Yeah.
Talking
Come on up front.
about the union, there's a few people that's against the union, more than is.
There's
And
no,
the way I stand, if it wasn't for union people, this town would not have what we have today. They always said we make too much money, but we shared our wealth with this town. And I'm sure we would have the insurance we had to pay the doctors and dentists and all these people. So I don't like to hear about the union.
Ruby, let me tell you, you misunderstand. What I'm saying is, they didn't want to take somebody out
I
of the union
understand.
and put into management. Not only that, let me go one step further. Nobody in the union wants to come out of the union and go into management because you're vulnerable. You know how it is.
Oh yeah, they can let you go.
They
in
can let you
there.
go any day.
Yes,
And
I
nobody
understand that.
wants to come out. I offered this job to Mr. Conkle, who is very well qualified. And no way, he didn't want it. I also offered it to the other guy. No, he didn't want it.
Well,
They're the only two we
yeah,
got that's qualified.
I believe in that, but I also don't believe you keep kicking the union. If it wasn't for people drawing their pension and social security, this town would be in bad shape.
That's true.
Worse than they already are.
Yes. And you got people right now is coming to people's doors daily asking for money. And I'm telling you, don't. You can't start giving them money. It's good, but you can't give it.
Ruby,
We got them running 3 or 4, I've seen this weekend, going to doors say, hey, my dad's in the hospital, I need some money.
Ruby, at the pool last week, we had a 15-year-old girl on Friday that tried to eat as much as she could because she doesn't get another meal till
I
Monday.
realize that.
And when the truck didn't come on Saturday, we had a lot of kids that were upset because we didn't have any food for Saturday. We only get food Monday through Friday.
I know.
So there's nobody more aware of how it is than I am. I go up there and watch that, and it brings tears to your eyes.
Oh, yes, it does. But
When a
when
15-year-old
you talk
is
about
begging for food.
unions and things, don't knock it because that's what we're living on now.
I'm not knocking
And
on
the
this.
guy up
I'm
above.
telling you that some of these two boards did not want to
Yeah.
elevate somebody from union to
I
management.
understand that.
And nobody in the union said, hey, we ain't going up there. We ain't gonna be up there.
Yeah, because once you're
Yeah.
dropped to another thing, they get rid of it.
We put 33.
And they should got rid of, I must say, there's union people they should have got rid of. That drinks and alcohol and wasn't worth it. That's where the union did wrong by keeping them.
You understand what we're trying to do here?
Yeah, no problem.
The rest of you, any questions? So,
If we have two guys that got the WT or the WT3, we got two guys that got it already. Why are we elevating a third?
no, we're elevating one of them, whichever one takes it.
One of them will,
Will be the person
just
responsible.
person in responsible charge.
And then if that person happens to be on vacation, the other gentleman could sign and so forth
One
and
of them
receive that.
has to be, we have
But they
to
have to have somebody designated as you're
Yes.
the man.
to sign off on all the reports.
Is there something in the contract that would keep both of them from taking vacation at the same time?
No.
Then you may be in trouble anyway.
They
As long as
never
the-
have had a problem with
As long as
that.
the
They've
paperwork
tried to
signed,
work
should
it
be
out.
alright.
They've worked it out. They know one of them has to be there. And, you know, one of the things that we can't understand, Fran and I wrestled with this when we were interviewing. We've got about 13 people in the union. Why they don't go, these jobs are really good jobs. The city of Gary right now would pay $95,000 to get the man that I'm trying to get. The only reason he won't go there is because he don't want to live in Gary. But what I'm saying is, these jobs are really, really good jobs, and these people that have worked for 25 years, if they get these qualifications, they can go any place. I don't know why they don't, but they have not pursued it. Brad and Mr. Conkle, and what's the other gentleman up at that water?
Newcomb.
Mr. Newcomb are the only three that I know of. Now, I may be wrong, but I think, aren't they the only three that have certifications of some sort?
I don't know for sure.
And after 25 or 30 years, they're qualified because you gotta have 2 years of work in the water plant, and then you gotta go take the test. You gotta have 2 years of work in the
Sewage
wastewater, and then go take the test. But for some reason, they have not availed themselves. And Mr. Conkle did this on his own time, on his own. And that's how he got elevated to the water plant. He was not the highest in seniority, but we moved him up there because he was qualified. Okay, on the issue of the 50 cents an hour to change the paying mistakes in ordinance, and it's ordinance 3123 on first reading. Any other discussion on it?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to approve pending ordinance 3123.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. We approve pending ordinance 3123, amending the salary ordinance to allow 50 cents an hour to the CORC. That's the Certified Operator of a Responsible Charge at the water treatment plant, whoever that might turn out to be. Any further discussion? We'll have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nobby?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, you pass it on first reading. Would you like to suspend the rules and continue?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to suspend the rules so we can consider pending ordinance 3123 on third and final reading, increasing the salary 50 cents per hour for the CORC, Certified Operative Responsible Charge at the water treatment plant. Any discussion? Did I vote on suspension? Okay, on suspension of rules only, excuse me. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now we can move on. Pending ordinance 3123, allowing 50 cents per hour for the person certified operative responsible charge. Did you make a motion, Gary?
Seconded.
You made the motion, and second. Have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stevens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
Okay, you passed that unanimously. We got that taken care of. Now let's just go right to the, this is a memorandum of understanding to be inserted in the union contract with utility. And basically what you're saying here is that you would allow a union person to do this certified operator responsible charge either indefinitely if the Board of Works and the utility director want to, or temporarily until we get everything straightened around. Any discussion on this memorandum of understanding? I did not write this, the union wrote it.
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the memorandum of understanding.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept this memorandum of understanding to the utility union contract. Further discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes.
Mr. Baker, have you looked over this?
I have.
Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a roll call vote.
Councilman Shomel?
Yes.
Councilman Nabi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Montgomery?
Yes.
Councilman Creech?
Yes.
Councilwoman Stevens?
Yes.
Councilwoman Rish?
Yes.
Councilman Weber?
Yes.
All have voted yes. You gotta pass that, it only takes one reading. You want, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Department reports, and I don't see any of the department heads
They're
here
out in the
except.
hallway.
Huh?
They're in the
Are
hallway.
they in the hallway? Department heads? Gene Worley?
I think we're
He's
playing
not
poker.
here. Dan's sick.
EMS, Park Superintendent.
He went home.
Oh, excuse me. Hey, hold it. Dan's first. Come on, Dan. Economic Development, Dan. I'm sorry.
Barry, can I just take the recorder and give it a pitch here?
No, leave it there, please.
Good evening. You will recall the last time I appeared before this council was about 8 weeks ago on April 21st, about 40 working days ago. And since that meeting, there's been a lot of activity. We've seen some promising changes in the business climate in Fayette County and in the city of Connersville. I'm happy to report there is a welcomed positive attitude regarding Connersville and Fayette County's future that is starting to take root and grow. And I've noticed that as I've visited businesses. I've visited about 32 businesses since I met with you last. Also, some of you may have attended the Alex Carroll groundbreaking back on the 23rd. And I have just a little update on that. It's the organic farms out there north of Industrial Drive South, or south of Industrial Drive North. I spoke to Alex today. He has got his permits and so forth and plans to make a big construction push right after the 4th of July. And in my conversation with him today, he is very dedicated to bringing this and also helping to help create other new businesses in Connersville. And is still very positive about Connersville, Fayette County, and we had a great conversation. During this period, since I spoke to you last, we've opened or celebrated the opening of Hardee's Restaurant, Goodwill, and Foles floor coverings. We also had a very nice open house and ribbon cutting for Wayzata on the 7th of this month. And I'd like to thank all the EDG Board of Directors and the Chamber of Commerce leadership and diplomats for helping with tours and with refreshments. I also want to thank Indiana State Senator Gene Lysing and State Representative Cindy Zemke and our mayor for being the dignitaries there, and it was a good event. Also wanted to thank the 17 Connersville merchants who gave freely to help welcome Wayzata with nearly $1,000 worth of door prizes. Wayzata continues to impress us with their increased production and the hiring of our people here in Connersville and from the surrounding area. And this is a very short report. And I'm going to be telling you some old news. It's public knowledge that yesterday's cafe on Park Road is undergoing a huge transformation. I visited with Randy Nichols today, saw firsthand the construction inside the restaurant and what he's doing with this building. And I can clearly see where he's going with the design. It's going to be a very nice creation for the city of Connersville and for the people in Fayette County. It's also public knowledge that the old Bob Evans is going to be reopened as a Japanese steakhouse. There's a sign right in front of the building that tells us that. And there's some other exciting things that are in the works from an industrial business standpoint that I wish I could tell you about, but I cannot. Since I last spoke to you, I can tell you from an attitude standpoint, after visiting these 32 businesses here in Connersville, things are improving. People are smiling again when you go to meet with them at their businesses and talk about economic development. You can see it in their faces. I've done a little fence mending. There's little ruffled feathers from some of the businesses from an economic development standpoint. Not mentioning any past directors, but some of them maybe didn't put their best foot forward. And so I'm doing a little fence mending and letting them know that we're here for them. In fact, for every business in Connersville, be it large or small. The business leaders I have met with tell me that there's a great future in store for all of us if we work hard to keep up our faith. So that's my report to you. As I said, short and brief. Any questions from the council?
Dan, could you speak a little bit about what we're trying to put together Thursday morning?
I can do that.
We got a very important thing that we're doing here.
Just happened to bring the memo with me. We haven't rehearsed this, so I'm glad I brought it. I do wish you had told me that I was going to pray tonight. I would have appreciated that.
We're going to be ready to pray at any moment.
It worked out okay. In a partnership with the mayor's office and the Fayette County, our economic development group, and Work One, we're putting together a new initiative that's being proposed for Fayette County. This new initiative is an ACT program. You're familiar with the ACT testing and so forth, go to college. It's the same group, same entity, titled Countywide Work Ready Community. And what we want to become is a certified work ready community, so that when employers and these site selectors are visiting Connersville or prospecting and looking about what we have from a property standpoint, what's our workforce like? That's one of the big questions we want to know. And what we're going to do in concert with Work One and also with business leaders and county officials, city officials, is become a certified work-ready community. And we're meeting this coming Thursday to kick it off and get our paperwork in time, and then we'll start our training process. It's a big deal, and a lot of the counties around us have already done this, and we have not. If you look on the map of the counties that have completed, they're colored red. And then when they get a level or two higher, they go to gold. We are neither. And we want to become red and then quickly become a gold, so that our workforce is certified work ready through Work One. Good enough?
I think it's a good assessment. When we get this recognition, it'll be only in Region 9 or any of these cities or counties doing it. The rest of the state is falling behind. And so we want to get up with Region 9 and we want to be there. This will be very important, as he said, when a site selector looks at us, says, oh my, they've got this all put together. But it's going to take some time, and we're calling on some individuals to give us some help, because it takes business and political leaders and economic development together to get this done. So if one of you or all of you want to work with us, we're meeting the
I think
first.
it takes seven individuals, I believe, on this to initiate it and get the paperwork started. Then there's some training in Atlanta, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and it'll help us.
We'll meet the first time at 10 o'clock Thursday morning.
So what does it mean exactly? You said work ready. Does that mean they got a certain reading level, a certain math skills?
Gabe, I wish I could tell you a chapter and verse on it, but I
They'll
can't.
eventually take an ACT test. But we, as you know, we're already got Manufacturing Matters going. And do we have 2 in the class this time? I can't remember. We graduated 1 in January, and we're trying harder to get some of our people involved in that. And this will be a part of that. Those people would be candidates to take this test.
Where is this meeting on Thursday morning?
Well, it's going to be here at City Hall. We're just not sure yet, because there's 2 meetings at the same time in the conference room, so we may be right here in this room. But it'll be here in City Hall someplace. It's very, very important that we get to that place. Dan, thank you. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's okay.
Doug Kaler was to be here and say that prayer tonight. I looked around the room and he wasn't here. So I went to Plan B, and I know that a good fellow Mormon like you can pray at a drop of a hat.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you.
Okay, economic development. Park superintendent.
Monthly report, revenue is $19,599. As you notice, pool emissions concessions are starting to kick in now. Appropriations, $52,263. Major expenditures, of course, the chlorine tablets was taken out of this one, $4,000. That was probably the big expenditure for that month, other than utilities. Activities programming, the pool opened Memorial Day weekend. We had a really good weekend, really good start. Lost a little bit last week due to the rain, but we're doing pretty well. We did lose our muriatic acid pump, $800 to replace, so we had to get that replaced. And our swim lessons going on pretty strong right now. Summer Discovery going very well. Had over 120 kids registered, so that's been very successful. And we also started, or going to start an adult soccer league, and we've had 6 teams in that, and that will be on Sunday and Thursday night at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night under the lights down the softball field. So that's the only time we have available, really. Especially El Caballo wanted to play. They don't get off work until 9:30, so we have to make some adjustments with time. But we've had big interest, so we'll see how it goes. Any questions?
I want to tell you about Mike. He's had a terrible time. First, the baseball flooded twice. Some of it had ice in it, knocked the fence down. Opening day went off without a hitch. The fields look beautiful. He's working. He got 6 kids, 5 kids. How many you got?
5 right now.
We got 5 students. One just started today.
Yeah.
So we haven't had the number of students we've been having to do our weed and our grass mowing. He's racing, trying to get the pavilion on the inside all closed in so no birds are in it when we have our dinners for the park. The Lions Club's paying for the material and our people are doing it.
And we got it all enclosed.
I know.
Now we're doing the vinyl, so that'll be another week and a half. As long as nothing breaks, we keep Bill in there, but, so.
And that's something that I'm really proud of. In the past, when the pool broke down and when this broke down, that broke down, we had to wait to get somebody in there. He calls Bill off the job and Bill goes fix it. And we get her back going and we put him back on the pavilion and back. I don't think we farmed anything out in the last month. Probably the pump.
The only thing we had the Powell's Plumbing had to clean out industrial park. We had utilities, we had everybody trying to clean pipes out, but we got it fixed. But that's not the only thing. But we tried to avoid it, but.
So we're saving the city taxpayers a lot of money by doing everything in-house. And I'm really proud of Mike. He puts in hours and hours and hours. IAC is in the process of putting together a kind of the same thing we got to be a certified park superintendent, which the mayors have answered to IAC, what's the credentials for this park superintendent, what's this, this, and this. We think that when we get this and we call this, Mike has a degree, what is it, environmental management?
Biology and natural resources.
Okay. But he actually will be certified. It'll make us eligible to get grants. And so we're working on that. So is every park, every city, the class 3 cities in the state. And I've been answering those questions. So we've been told, you know, if you don't have a park board, you're not eligible for these grants. Well, now they're saying if you have the management that is qualified, we will be eligible for these grants. So we're working hard on that. And Mike's willing to do whatever it takes to get us certified. So we're working on that. So he's had a lot on his plate this spring, and I appreciate what you've done. And I do appreciate your union, Ruby, because Mike's union works with him day and night. In fact, today, during the Board of Works, they turned in money. They're wearing their own clothes. They're not taking the uniforms that we used to buy and saving money. And it was their idea. We didn't ask them to do it. They just did it on their own. We used to rent their clothes. I appreciate all you're doing up there, and I appreciate you, man.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Police Department.
Had 1,301 law reports, 157 citations issued, 1 ordinance violation, 283 warnings issued. We had 5 personal injury accidents, 47 property damage accidents, 1 fatality, and 78 arrests. And on the overtime, we have $627.18. I believe that's OPO, and that'll be reimbursed.
It's a minor equipment, Dave, that you got, $1,800. You know what that was?
Not right off, Fran, I probably have to look, but it has probably something to do with office equipment.
Okay. For the monthly, your expenditures, $186,591.03.
Any questions, council?
I don't have a question, Dave. I have a couple comments. First, on your overtime, congratulations to you and all your staff to come down from $7,000 to less than $700. Secondly, last week there was a shooting in East Side, and Dave and his people handled that very quickly and efficiently. Thank you for that. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Streets, David.
How we doing? You're the judge and jury. The street sweeper, we got it running, but we don't have it on the street yet, but that should happen in a few days if things go well. The motor's put back together and things are looking good for that. So that's something we'll have back on the street in a few days. So.
And Phil's back working now, and we left Chris over there with him. They seem to be doing very well together. We were worried about Phil trying to do too much, which you knew he would do. So we left Chris, we've always had an assistant mechanic, and they seem to be doing well.
They're doing great, they really are.
So it's working good. Any questions?
We didn't have to work on Mike's mowers all the time, it'd be different, but we did. But with the events that are going on in the city with the Thomas coming, and we just had the go-kart race, and everybody seems to be okay with what we're doing there as far as the streets being blocked and all that kind of stuff that's going on. It's a busy weekend now with Thomas this weekend and the downhill derby Friday and Saturday and Sunday, so.
How's the grass cutting coming?
Pardon me?
Grass cutting.
We're up to date, we've got it all cut that,
I don't think you're up to date.
yes, I am.
At the
I'll
corner
beg to
of
differ
Third-
with you on that one,
At the
because I don't have any more
corner, at
papers.
the bottom of Third Street Hill.
I don't have any authority to go there and
Bottom
mow
Third
it.
Street Hill has been taken care of as far as, we have to send letters out, it takes a little time to get them letters out and get them back. And so we're just waiting to get it back.
In other words, what David's saying, everyone you've been told to cut's cut.
It's cut, yes.
But we have to wait 10 days now, they got a new law, and after we notify them, we gotta wait 10 days. And
I
it
got a
grows another
complaint
10
today
days.
about the one at the corner of 16th and Grand.
There again, I mowed it on my own one
I know
Friday
you
evening.
did, I saw you get the
And,
front.
I
Are we getting close to being able to?
That's something you'd have to ask.
We've already had an order to do that once. There's a guy across the street from there at 16th Grand and said he'd be mowing it. And so he mows it probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is, but.
That backyard hasn't been mowed.
No.
Dave mowed the front.
Well, I know for a fact that my backyard's been mowed once because Dennis and I went out and checked it.
Okay.
And so the guy across the street said he'd take care of it, so,
Yeah, I just got a complaint today.
But anyway, I can't mow them until I'm told.
Okay, but I made this report some time ago, so I don't know how long it took before the 10 days thing was
Well,
issued.
Fran will tell you something. We got a lot of grass to cut in this town, and we have to send a lot of letters out. And plus, we have to be a police department too, and we get them out as fast as we can. Plus, we're taking care of everything else we do. We don't have one guy doing this anymore. We've got just several of us doing it. There's other things going on too. So, like I told the mayor the other day, I feel like we're city managers instead of a police department. So we're doing what we can do with what, and everybody's just going to have to be patient.
Okay.
Are there notification letters sent out to people before you go mow their grass?
Yes, yes, they get 10 days, you gotta send that out, and they get 10 days to respond to that. And if they don't respond after that certain time, then we go ahead and give a work order to the street department to have it cut. So we don't wanna get ahead of the game, because we get ahead of the game, which we've had before, and we end up, somebody gets their yard mowed for nothing. And so it's kind of you're juggling around stuff here and everything else, and it's pretty complex how we do this. It's pretty.
I know back several years ago, I got in some problems and they mowed my grass and I didn't get a letter.
We didn't used to have to.
Never used to have to notify them. Now we do.
Okay, I was gonna say back then.
That just started last year, didn't it?
Let me make a point. The reason for the 10-day notice is it advises the people that if they don't mow their grass, the city will do it and will continue to do it throughout the summer. So that's
We only
because
send
of the
them
10
one the
days,
first
you only
time.
have to give them one notice.
Well, I'm not saying that mine didn't need mowed, it did.
Oh, yeah.
But after we go there once, we can go, when it gets to the height, we can go back again without the letter.
So have we moved bottom Third Street Hill once?
Not yet.
Not yet. But the letter's been sent, it's ready to give to Dave. Is 10 days up?
No,
When is it up?
probably another week or anyway. Because we went and looked at it, took pictures of it the other day. I'd have to check on that one. But we are backlogged with yards and sending out letters. But we just, we got so much rain here in the spring and that grass went up so quick that like last year, it was like, we didn't need to get even our grass inspector until May. Usually we get him in April. So it's just the way it's growing this year.
Okay.
Okay, the expenses for Dave's department, $86,691.80. End of the month.
And our gas usage is down too a little bit. I thought about maybe comparing month to month, and do that way you have last month's paper, so I didn't go ahead and do that, so. The trash truck uses the most people of anything I got.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, guys.
I have the utility report in there, Nancy. Your utility report's in your folder today?
Right.
You got it? Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Transfer station.
You have the report in front of you. Any questions?
Your overtime looks good.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Chief Troy.
We had 88 runs for the month of May, 266.9 hours on emergencies, 19 inspections, 10 investigations, 4 pre-planning tours, 122 hours in training. I think we had some overtime on a house fire, $582.44 on a house fire, and then $888 and FLSA. For a total of $14.71.
Troy, can you explain your gas? $132 last month, but $6,812 this month, or the last month, this report. That's a natural gas. That's a natural gas, because you got a line item of gasoline up.
That can't be right. That's the year-to-date, Fran.
I'm sorry?
That's the year-to-date.
Oh, okay.
The 6,000.
Yeah, it was only 132.
Okay.
But that was for the whole, for January, February, March, and April. It was the 6,000.
Okay. Okay. A total for the month, $185,824.81 on your department.
And you see that's up a little bit because we had the fire here. So it was 84 if I'm not
Yeah, that's reimbursable.
Yeah.
Have we got that money back yet?
Yeah. We paid up for it last month.
Troy? You got all the bugs worked out on the new truck? Is it doing okay?
It's having warranty work done and it's having a wiring harness installed. Finally
Okay.
found the problem.
All this still under warranty and everything? Okay. Thank you.
It is out, should not be back probably for another week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Back to the waste thing for just a second, Tom. I think you had 19,000. It should be 9,000, shouldn't it? There on the bottom
On
your report. When you add your
probably the person that added it did it incorrectly.
your cash and charge.
Surely not.
On the fees collected column.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 9,700.
Instead of 19,000.
Yes, the person that added that.
Okay.
I'll talk to him tomorrow.
I wish you would, yeah.
Okay. Yes, you're correct.
I think we're all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
PB3.
Hello.
Hello.
Most importantly, I'll start out, I've been following the World Cup over there quietly, I hope, and U.S. just beat Ghana 2-1.
All right. All right.
For the month, 8 hours, 10 minutes of meetings, 14 hours, 53 minutes of original programming. We also did the Ways Out Open House, where we provided PA system both inside and outside, and dual projection screens inside, so that's all part of the open house there. Also got drafted into doing a tour, so.
I do.
I was able to do that for and fantastic facility up there. I'm glad that they were able to let it be open to the community. Just a reminder that we've got the Downhill Derby this weekend. The road will be closed on Ziegler Wednesday, beginning at 4 p.m. To build out the racetrack. Qualifications and practice are Thursday and Friday. Also, the Lions Club has decided that they will allow anyone who wants to go down the hill to come out, pay $10. They'll put you in a car and shoot you down the hill.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and they've got a couple of cars and helmets, you know. So.
Are you going to go down the hill, Fred?
No. I told him as an announcer out there, we put him down the hill for free. So,
They told me I could go, but I'm too heavy.
I'll put you in there. I'm going to go down.
I'm too heavy. Said 800 pounds was the limit.
Yeah. The racing will begin Saturday morning at 9 a.m. with the 8 and 9-year-olds, and then as soon as that's done, we'll begin with the second class. the Class A, which is the middle age class group, which is 10 to 13, and that'll start somewhere around 11. And then Sunday, beginning at 2 p.m. is the older kids class.
Are you filming the entire race like you did last year?
You betcha.
And is poor Fran gonna have to sit out there and melt?
Yep. I talked to him today. He says he loves the sun.
Said, don't worry about the heat.
We've got a tent for him and fans that'll be on them. So
You're the guy that complained about the heat last year.
I think I'm driving the tractor this year, aren't I?
Are you?
That's what they told me.
All right. I did not know.
So you better watch where I'm going up there.
You're dragging the cars back up the hill.
That's what they do.
We'll watch it, yeah.
Any questions?
No. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Okay. Old business. Anybody got any real old business?
Yeah, that trail on the north end, that's my understanding we have some needs for that now.
Yeah, Kenny Burgess went to the Department of Transportation, wasn't he? Yeah, and was able to acquire copies and computer versions, which are much easier to read, of all the deeds that were issued for the ownership of the right-of-way through portions of Fayette County and Connersville. Of course, they're all like a Chinese puzzle. We don't know how they go end to end. And my understanding when I talked to him last was that you were talking to the county surveyor about that.
He's been on vacation the last 2 weeks, so I tried getting hold of Jerry Gilman even to get some help from him.
Right.
I've been able to get a hold of him, but yeah, I can't get a hold of Warren Sue.
Well, Kenny's, when he gets on something, you know, he kind of doesn't stop. So he's been in my office 3 or 4 times, and I'm more than happy to work with him. But what we have to do is show an end-to-end ownership, you know, from one section, maybe 500 feet, and the 500 feet next to it, and the 500 feet next to it, has to be conveyed by warranty deed, which means the persons that conveyed it owned it in fee simple to the railroad, which is apparently what happened. And then we're not finding many, if any, easements, actually, where there was easements only. They're almost all, if not all, ownership interests, where the railroad actually owned the property. So that tells me, and this is my big concern, if the railroad didn't own it, if they just had easements, then they couldn't pass title. But if they did own it, which it appears that they do, they can pass title. And since they use quitclaim deeds, you never know how much title is being passed by a quitclaim deed, because which I understand is the practice of the county to do, or state to do. But they conveyed to the Department of Transportation, and the Department of Transportation conveyed to the city of Connersville. So we own something, we're not sure what yet. But it's coming together.
It's numerous deeds back in, what, 1800s, 1850s,
Oh, my, yeah.
1860s.
Handwritten, many of
Some
them.
of them are really hard to read
Oh,
because of the cursive, the fancy cursive and
Yeah.
all that. But
Well, how many are we looking at? How many deeds are we looking at?
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, more than that.
Yeah,
You know, I saw 30 or 40 deeds.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're talking from the Amtrak building on Eastern Avenue all the way to the county line is what I believe it entails.
Are you saying north or south?
North.
To the county line north.
North.
Right, which is what we're looking for, as I understand it. Yeah.
So what's the next step?
Well, the surveyor is going to have to tell us where each parcel is located on the right-of-way bit.
But you think there's a continuous,
Well, that's what we got to find out. If there are gaps, then we have to try to sort those out, figure out why, and so on.
I don't see there, I don't think there's gonna be, this was all gathered by the state of Indiana back before we bought it for about $14,470.
Something like that.
And, so we don't see that, but it's written in a way to where a surveyor would understand it. John can understand some of it, I can't understand.
Well, it's the
From
legal-
a corner
it's-
state to the,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of.
It's the legal descriptions or meets and bounds, and a surveyor can look at that and make a pretty good, get a pretty good idea of which way it's going and what the bearings are and the calls, and then he can also determine by the various other sites in that deed where it's located. So I think he can, if he's willing to work on a puzzle like this, he can patch it together from end to end for us.
So I'm hoping, I think, that Warren Sudoff will help us with that, the county surveyor.
Correct.
We definitely don't want to have to see if Jerry Golden will help us maybe, because he's
Or
been,
you can become a surveyor.
yeah, I'll let you do this.
Well, you know,
Well, I'm working on that, hopefully I'll have that soon.
in 2005 or 6, I was on city council, and we spent $40,000 to an engineering firm to work on that road for us. Wouldn't they have had to do some of that then?
Actually, we had that before that, Jerry said. Yeah.
Well, what happened to the people we paid the $40,000 to? What did they do?
I don't know.
It's in the minutes. I've been reading the minutes, and it's in there.
I actually think we have all we need. It's just now we have to
You
get a
remember
survey
that?
and draw a map.
I don't.
Julie?
No, I don't, but was it Butler family?
We paid some engineering firm. You remember it, Frank?
No, I don't.
So paid him for what, Mayor?
We paid them to get the engineering done because we were gonna put the road up there, because at that time, they were gonna come across State Road 1. Across, you know, where they were gonna come across.
Well, that wouldn't necessarily take care of our problem.
Well, what did we pay them for then?
Well, I have no idea.
They
But,
were to engineer that railroad grade so we could put a road up there.
you know,
And I was upset about it because I thought, well, why are we paying them and didn't get anything? I never heard from them again.
So that would be for the portion of the road only, of course.
Yeah, but that was going up the railroad grade.
State road.
For a
That was
portion of it,
state-
yeah.
State project?
We paid the extra $40,000 when they put the road up by the gas station. We paid $40,000.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You
I
remember that?
remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that. When the gas station was coming in,
Yeah.
they went on up north,
We
but
went
I
up
don't
the
know how
railroad
far.
grade and paid an engineering company to study that for us.
Well, we paid $12,000 for the deed to the railroad
Well, I
property.
wanna know where the $40,000 went and what they did for it.
Well, it went
It went to
to
the police
them
department.
probably, is what they did for it's the question.
I don't ever remember perfectly.
I didn't think that was funny.
Probably didn't.
Did it? Went to the police department.
I don't know where it was. I'll find out for you. We'll find those minutes. It was either 5 or 6, 2005, 2006.
You quit being grumpy.
But you do remember it, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, you're not just telling me.
No, I do remember. With the gas station, with the gas
Yeah, I
station.
know you make stuff up. though.
I didn't make that up. I do remember it. I can't tell you how far north, but I think it was considerable.
40,000.
They want to go all the way straight through.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
we're gonna
When they were
find
gonna
it.
make the bypass, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah.
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 Gabe and I have been working on also a bicentennial legacy trust by the state of Indiana. 2016, I think, is the bicentennial for Indiana, and they're wanting to buy land, purchase land for public use, for parks, for trails, for any of that. So I went to a meeting at Metamore a couple of weeks ago and met some real important people, and that's what led me to this, the deeds that I got after. Here we've been looking for those for so long, and we've had the abstract office looking for them for the last year, and ends up Indiana had already done all that work and it's sitting up there. But the Bicentennial Trust, there's $30 million to acquire land, so we've been working on that too.
Well, that'd be nice.
And they're interested in putting trails in this area. Well, it's connecting the Cardinal Greenway, aren't they? Look at connecting the Cardinal Greenway going to Franklin County with lots of offshoots. And
Well, what's the canal? What do they call it? The
Scenic Byway.
Scenic Byway, they've already got plans for that. He told me, the guy from DNR told me, he said, we've tried working with them before about trails, about the city of Connersville, but they didn't have any luck. So they're wanting to have trails through here. They're really wanting to do that, and they're already in the plans. I just brought that book with me. They sent me a book that's got us in there. And they're getting ready to do more planning on that in the next year, and they're going to get us involved in that too. But there's options out there that we can do if we want.
So we have a committee of 2 working on
Well,
it.
no, it's me, Gabe, and Connie, and Shirley Rish, Mike. So we got another meeting next month at Union County with the Bicentennial Legacy thing. And yeah, there's some really good contacts there. And, so we need to be going to those.
Any other old business? Miscellaneous business. Nancy, you got anything?
No.
Tom?
Good, thank you.
Connie? No. I looked right at her and called her Connie.
I just wanted to say I really enjoyed the open house at Wayzata last
You
week.
did a great job. I can't imagine how you did that, but you did a great job.
I really enjoyed it though. I think they've got a good product.
Gabe? Good. You have anything?
Just wanted to let everybody know we did get our property tax draw.
Good.
And it was slightly higher than what I expected, but I haven't really had time to do much.
$1.50 more, huh?
Yeah, well, no, it was a little more than that, about 49,000, but in the big picture, that's about like $1.50, yeah. So hopefully between now and the next meeting, I'll have time to put some figures together and make a few educated guesses on where we're gonna be, so.
Good. Fran?
Oh, I'm okay, thanks.
Dr.
I'm
Weber?
fine, thank you.
Connie?
Yep, fine.
Yeah. Mr. Baker, do you have anything miscellaneous?
No, sir, I do not.
All right. On the mayor's update, we had a guy come in from Florida, and he had 2 lots up on Sherman Avenue, and he wanted to give them to the city. And I consulted with the attorney. We thought it was better to give them to the redevelopment commission because they could give it to the school to build a house on. They could give it to Habitat for Humanity. It could be used, maybe they could give it to the 2 neighbors to share it. So we're in the process of getting that deed over to the redevelopment commission. Forget what else. Was there anything else I was supposed to say? Other than that, I think everything's going pretty well. Everybody seems to be moving along.
Mayor, let me ask just a quick question. Does he plan to actually deed it to the
Yeah.
redevelopment commission?
Yeah.
Is he gonna get a deed or shall I prepare one?
You'll have to prepare it, but I got all the information from him to prepare that deed.
And we're meeting tomorrow anyway, tomorrow afternoon, so we can get together on that. All right.
I told him it'd just be a quick claim deed.
Right.
And, whoever takes it will have to go with that.
That's fine.
Yeah. It's his mother's property. He has power of attorney, and he left us a copy of the power of attorney and signed it.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him about it, but it'll.
Yeah, I got his phone number, and he was very anxious to do this. It was appraised at $4,500 for the 2 lots, so it's not a big deal, but maybe the redevelopment commission, they're meeting tomorrow, and you'll be there with that, and I'll give you all that stuff.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
I do have something.
Yeah.
If I may. We do have a utility director, maybe?
I have gone through all the steps. Fran and I spent extensively. I did a police check. We did blood. We did a drug test. We got the screen back today. The Board of Works gave me permission to offer him the job.
Okay.
We offered him the job. We interviewed several. This isn't the only one. We interviewed 5 or 6. Every time we got somebody that was qualified, basically, and I just got to tell them how it is, their wife didn't want to live here. There's not enough amenities here. This man says that he wants to live here.
Okay.
He's coming tomorrow night.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, I keep saying tomorrow. He's coming Wednesday night. And Jane and Mr. Baker and I are going out to dinner with him, and we're going to try to put a contract together on a probationary basis for a year. And all indications are he's going to accept the job. He's got 18 years in water. And, about 54 years old. He's managed the UAW union, so he gets along well. I checked his references. They said he works well. Julie's worked with him. Julie's talked to him. She's impressed. I think he'll do a good job.
Okay.
I think he'll be good for the community.
Sounds good.
He coaches Little League. They have Little League up there. They don't have where he is. And he coached basketball. In fact, he's quite a basketball. Fran, you know more about
Girls
that.
basketball, I believe, is what
What he was talking about.
his main thing, yes. And he was familiar with Connersville when they had those great teams that went to the regional and semis. April McDevitt in that era. I think he has some girls that are playing or have played basketball in school.
Niece or something, didn't he? That
So
was
there was some relation that was playing for,
Ron Collins.
yes, Ron Collins.
The Board of Works insists that the man lives here, and so that's been a hard thing, because you gotta get someone that's willing to come, someone with the credentials, and then get them to live here. And I think this man will be a valuable asset to this community. You know, he coaches all these things, he does, we need people like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Not that we don't have them, but we need them. Public forum. She left.
Our public left.
Well, she always wants me to have public forum at the end, and I wait to the end. Any public left at all? Kenny, could you pretend to be public? No public forum.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Good.